Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Dr. Tom LaHue, and we are going to be talking about the CliftonStrengthsFinder strength of adaptability. So this is a strength that is under the domain of relationship building. So if you're not familiar with CliftonStrengthsFinders, there's 4 different domains. Those domains are executing, influencing, relationship building, and strategic thinking. I'll put those up on the screen so that you can take a look at those. Relationship building, let me put my glasses on. Relationship building, that domain is all about people who have a dominant relationship building strength. They have the ability to build strong relationships that can hold a team together and make the team greater than the sum of its parts. I'm looking at a card here. I've got a stack of cards that my brother-in-law Barry gave to me that has each of these strengths. So I'm going to be looking at the cards. I'm going to be looking at this book by Tom Rath, and then I've got some other notes that I came up with to talk about each of these strengths. A reminder, in the description below is a link to my website, tomlahue.com. I do offer coaching based on the Enneagram, but also I just love self-help. I love all of this kind of information to challenge myself and to challenge you guys to be more present to life, to be more present and more productive in your life, and to have better relationships. At my heart, I'm an Enneagram 7. I want you to be happy. I want you to live fulfilled lives, and I want you to live an inspirational life. So check out my website. I do have lots of interesting offerings there, many different courses and courses on CliftonStrengthsFinders as well as the Enneagram and other relationship enhancing courses. I do offer Enneagram coaching. Are you feeling stuck in life? You're not sure what the next step is, or your relationship feels like there's more arguing and silence than there is connection? I'd love to work with you. Check out my 3-month coaching program, Present to Life. All right, so let's jump into this strength. And like I said, I got a lot of things going on here. I've got my adaptability card, I got my book, I've got my notes, and let's just take some time in our little lab of self-help here to explore what adaptability is. If you've taken the CliftonStrengthsFinders test, then you know what your score is on this. I scored 18, which is kind of in the middle because I think there's, 34 different strengths, if I remember right. And so it's sort of in the middle. I'm a pretty adaptable person, but I do like to have some kind of a plan. I'm an ENFP, and P tends to stand for perceivers who like to go with the flow. So I do lean a little bit that way. So this is what it says. People with who are exceptionally talented or who have the strength of adaptability, who score high in that, they prefer to go with the flow and tend to be now people. Like, let's work on what we're doing right now. Where I think the opposite would be like, I want to have a plan and be very strategic and work ahead. People who score high in adaptability are very focused on what we're doing right now. They like to take things as they come and discover the future one day at a time. The statements on this card are, I am a here and now person. So people who score high in adaptability would probably see themselves as being focused on what is present here and now, adapting to their environment as it is now, or adapting to the people around them. Okay, I will react with immediacy and to the immediate needs around them. I bring or contribute a willingness to follow the lead of change. I need present pressures that demand an immediate response. And so there's this sense of like, I'm working on what is urgent right now. I'm working on what has presented itself as an urgent, need right now. So I need a pressure to get this work done. It's hard for me to maybe work on something long-term in the future. I love spontaneity. I hate predictability. And the metaphor or image is like a river who's going with the flow. And the barrier might be, you could be a little bit directionless or be perceived by others as directionless. So let's take a look at what's in this book. Just to hit a couple of highlights here. I do read before, to prepare for these videos, but you live in the moment. Okay, adaptable people live in the moment. What are some of the other strengths that are in the domain of relationship building? Well, connectedness, developer, empathy, harmony, includer, individualization, positivity, and relator. And we will unpack each of those in this series. But adaptable people live in the moment, They don't see the future as a fixed destination, but instead you see it as a place that you create out of the choices that you're making right now. So you're very focused on what you're doing right now, the decisions you're making right now, the choices right now, and the future sort of takes care of itself. The future isn't the main focus of the adaptable person. And so you discover your future one choice at a time. Perfectly said. I love how that says that. You expect challenges, you expect unforeseen situations, you don't react negatively to things changing, you expect things to change and actually not only see it as inevitable, but maybe even see it as preferable. A very flexible person, you stay productive with the demands of the work when they are pulling you in many different directions at once. You tend to be somebody that you could add to any team and have a positive impact because you tend to go with the flow and work with the teams as they are. You tend to clear things mentally. If there's a problem or a setback, you don't spend a lot of time sulking and pouting about that setback, but just kind of like, let's adapt to that and then move on. And this can make you a very positive person, a person that maybe is easy to be around, but sometimes frustrating to people who like to have a more structured, more rigid approach to making decisions. Let's see what else we can find out about this. So here's some notes that I jotted down about adaptability. They're flexible, responsive, they meet the immediate needs of their environment and are focused on the immediate needs of their environment. They excel in situations that are unpredictable and they can change directions quickly if needed. Here's some key characteristics of adaptability. Number one, flexible. Flexibility. You can go with the flow, adjusting your plans based on the new information and changing circumstances without a lot of stress, without a lot of resistance. Number two, presence. Fully present in the current moment. Rather than looking ahead or being frustrated by what didn't work out in the past, adaptable people are more likely to be present to the moment and respond appropriately and effectively to the needs of or issues in the here and now. So they give their attention to the person they're with. They give their attention to the problem at hand. There's number three, a calmness in crisis. And so when everything is, when all the plates are spinning, when there's a lot of demands, there's a lot of customer service issues, for example, or a lot of logistic problems, they tend to remain calm and composed, seeking practical solutions and not getting frustrated that there's change, not getting frustrated that there's a lot of stress. Number four, an openness to change. They generally are open to change and new experiences and opportunities, learning from them rather than seeing them as threats to stability. And number five, an resourcefulness, being able to think on your feet, problem solvers, capable of coming up with immediate, effective responses to the challenges that you're facing. And so the applications in the workplace might be like team dynamics, helping groups stabilize their team dynamics, adjusting their approach, and adjusting your personal approach to the specific team that you're on and the challenges that team has. For project management, juggling a lot of different projects or juggling a lot of different tasks in a lot of different environments wouldn't be seen as problematic to this person. Again, customer service and meeting all of the needs and demands of all the customers around you. Crisis management, being able to come up with solutions in the moment to resolve a crisis. All of these, could be very positive strengths of somebody who scores high in adaptability. Now, what if you wanted to grow in this strength? What if you said, well, I scored half, like me, I scored 18 on here, so I'm kind of middle of the road, or maybe you scored even less than that. How could I grow to be a more adaptable person or grow in this strength of adaptability? Well, probably the first thing is just to realize that I need to learn to be more embracing of change. Like rather than resisting change, see it as something that is normal. It's something that never changes. There's always going to be change. And rather than resist change, maybe try to change my mindset and change my perspective so that I'm not so resistant to change, not so hesitant to change. Another thing we might do is try to practice mindfulness. Try to be more present in the moment rather than always looking ahead and projecting ahead, rather than always looking behind and trying to learn from the past and live in the past, but try to be more present and more mindful about the moment that we're living in right now. Another thing might just be to try to cultivate a more positive attitude towards failure, realizing that failure is not necessarily, the worst thing that can happen. That failures are learning opportunities that help us to grow and challenge us, in ways that maybe we wouldn't if we were always successful. And so having a better positive attitude toward accepting failure and being able to bounce back faster rather than, to just crash and sulk and, be overwhelmed by failure. Developing problem-solving skills, learning to let go, strengthening your emotional resilience, and then just setting more flexible goals. Realizing I want to know the direction I'm going in, but I can't necessarily get too specific yet because I don't have enough information. I don't have enough resources in front of me right now to make definite, clear plans. I'm going to make plans, but I got to keep some openness in those plans. I want to know what direction I'm going in, but I can't necessarily pick out the city yet we're going to land in. What types on the Enneagram would score high on adaptability? Well, now this is just speculation because any type could be very high in adaptability, but I think there's a few types that, generally speaking, might be a little more likely to score high in adaptability. And I'm going to start with my own type 7s. I think 7s would tend to score pretty highly in adaptability. They have a desire for variety, a desire for new experiences, a desire to explore, and a desire for adventure. They tend to be optimistic and adventurous, which makes them highly adaptable people in most circumstances. And they tend to be looking for new opportunities and are willing to adjust their plans to ensure the maximum enjoyment and satisfaction at any given point in time. And I think all of those factors would potentially make 7s a little more likely to score high in this strength of adaptability. Another type that I think would score high, or potentially could score high, is type 9s, especially 9-wing 1s, maybe a little more than 9-wing 8s. But 9s tend to have a go-with-the-flow attitude and tend to be adaptable to their environments and to the people around them, seeing all sides and perspectives, and a desire for harmony and a desire for peace with other people would I think encourage them to have a very adaptable mindset and wanting to meet the needs of the people around them and to not be a problem. I think another type that could score high in this is type 5s. 5s tend to be open-minded as far as chasing the information and seeking out the facts. And I think although 5s could at times be argumentative and debative, I think they are willing to adjust themselves to better and new information. And so their desire to understand the world could make them adaptable in situations where new learning and adaptation are required. Listen to how this is written. They are able to absorb vast amounts of information and can adjust their frameworks of understanding as new data comes to light. And then finally, I think type 3s might score high in adaptability. Type 3s are very goal-oriented, and although they have a long-term goal in mind or a direction that they're headed in mind, their desire to reach that goal, maybe sometimes and to avoid failure, could cause them to be willing to be adaptable no matter what it takes in order to accomplish that goal. So the need to shift or change strategies or pivot in order to accomplish the goal, in order to be successful, could make them highly adaptable people. Who might struggle with adaptability? Well, maybe 1s, maybe 8s, maybe 6s. I don't know. But I again, this is generally speaking. Now, why would this strength come hard to some of us? Why would this be challenging for some people to adapt a more adaptability mindset? Well, fear of the unknown. That can be a big problem. Just being afraid of what could happen next, and I want to have all the details figured out before I move forward. I don't want to fail. I don't want to do something wrong. I don't want everybody to be upset with me. So this could create a lot of anxiety and a certain comfort with routine, a certain comfort with status quo, a certain comfort with everything being predictable. A very fixed mindset. If somebody has a very fixed mindset and they're very rigid in their thinking, it can be hard for them to see new changes or change as opportunities rather than just a problematic disruption to their systems and their structure. A resistance to change. A lot of people just resist change. Just as soon as you start talking about change, they tend to groan and push back and are resistant to it. Also, what you might say a low self-efficacy, or not believing in yourself, not having a lot of confidence in yourself, and feeling like, oh no, the situation is changing. I'm probably going to mess up. I'm probably going to fail. I don't know what's expected of me. I don't know what's expected in this environment. This new environment puts a certain stress on me that I need to perform at a certain level, and I feel like now that everything's changed, there's a good chance I'm going to fail. So this lack of self-confidence, or this doubt in your own ability to accomplish or achieve what's needed in the moment, or to have the resources in the moment, could certainly make you resistant to the strength of adaptability. All of these things I think could factor in. So, what can we do? Well, we need to value those who have the strength of adaptability. And then what can I do to improve and to grow in this? And, to consciously maybe make some decisions to try to be more of an adaptable person. All of this is going to help us, and that's the goal, is that we move forward with better understanding, better insight, and the ability to show up in the here and now to be the most productive in our relationships, at work, and whatever environment we find ourselves in. Thanks, guys, for joining me for this video. I hope it's helpful for you, and I hope it encourages you and strengthens you as you go forward in your life.